Food Court, the movie podcast, and Twitch stream where Stovetop
and Tony
watch shit, talk shit, and most importantly, eat shit. We are the law.
Yeah, we are.
Just kidding. My name's Sean. That's Michael. We're on the Food Court Movie Podcast, as we always are. Thank you so much for tuning in if you're live and for tuning in even if you aren't live.
We value every single listener and or watch viewer.
Mm-hmm. And I don't need, none of it is tuning in because none of it is on a radio. That is really the only time when you tune, when you go. Wait, I used to do a really good radio tuning noise.
Okay.
You got to get a lot of spit ready. Okay, you vamp while I get some spit ready.
All right, yeah, he's getting his spit ready.
Ooh. No, that sounds more like kind of Aboriginal instruments.
Yeah.
I
love it. I love it. I think we should begin every show with one of those.
Yes. I need to get a didgeridoo.
Yeah, that would be great.
It's one of those things where I've often thought I should check and see how much a didgeridoo is.
I check in every now and again. I go, let's see, and the price. I mean, you would not believe the demand right now. It is crazy. With the pandemic, people are stuck at home. They're like, I need to be learning this.
I should pick up the didgeridoo.
Yeah, I should pick it up and then set it back down for 6 months.
Yeah, never ever look at it again. Just like move it out of the way.
Yeah.
Also, huge thing.
I want to say hi to Chad and Fast Break Breakfast, our sister podcast.
Fast Break Breakfast is
in the chat. Hi, everybody.
Chad this is a big get for us.
Yes, this is huge. Chad said we sound like aliens, by the way.
Oh,
which we do.
In what way?
You know,
Oh, that? I thought we had last time we did it. We also sounded like aliens, but I think it was only because we had the sound on.
Robots. Yeah, it was fucked, big time, messed up. I was like, fuck.
Fuck this shit.
What the fuck?
So we said thanks already, but really, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for every version of that.
I love
it. It's time, Michael.
What do you mean?
For the Panda Express. Whoa, no, take it back.
Yeah, I was about to say.
We watched Wolf of Wall Street. Is the movie we watched. We watched The Wolf of Wall Street. And, now, it's time.
No,
I choo choo into the station.
Michael. I want a new segment. How was your week?
How was your week? It was good.
That's enough.
I take that back. It wasn't good, but thank you for asking.
You're welcome.
My body hurts all the time.
Oh, no.
How are you?
I've been good. I had a good trip in the mountains with some
Yeah,
friends.
you went to drug country.
Drug country. In a few senses.
You spliffed.
I got spliffed.
You went double spliffed up, one in each corner of the mouth, and you were talking out of the middle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love to get stoned. Oh, hell yeah. Hey. That's how you talk when you get stoned.
I was gearing up for this movie. I was like, all right, there's going to be a lot of drugs in this movie, so I better get high as hell.
Did you get boosted?
Boosted. I was boosted. Anyway, why don't you tune that radio, Sean? It's time for the Panda Express because we've got some things to express about the things we watched this week.
Chugga 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 choo choo.
All aboard!
The Panda Express is coming into the station. Check your baggage with the African American gentleman who is. It was the old days, so we only had African American gentlemen to do the carrying stuff. But that doesn't make it right. In fact, it was very wrong.
Next stop, Orange Chicken Lane. All right.
And this stop, it's Asian Americans taking their bags.
Yes.
And we'll head on down to what would be a white restaurant? Is there even a white restaurant?
Cracker Barrel.
Cracker Barrel. And next stop, Cracker Barrel, where a man with no sleeves will take your bags.
Man with no sleeves.
Yeehaw! Hey, you want me to take your bags?
But a lot of heart.
Do you have any kind African American gentlemen to take my bags? No. Okay, well you can take my bags.
We ain't got those.
What's an African American?
That's correct.
I watched The Night House. I'll talk about it. You watched 3 movies, so I should let you go first, but I will not. I watched The Night House, and if you want to hear me talk about it, listened to Carl Roberts III's
Whoa.
Badumching because we talked a little bit about on that.
I remember.
And he was like, "Hey, can we get the whole food court gang on the podcast?" And I was like, "Impossible. We can barely get him onto our podcast. There's no chance we will get him onto your podcast." But Night House, if it's still playing near you, go see it because it's scary as fuck.
Would you go see it again?
I have seen it 3 times, and I will absolutely go see it.
I would go see it with you.
Okay, let's go see it.
Woo! All
Tell
right.
me movies, Michael. You
first
have 3 to go, and then I'll do one.
Well, I watched this movie with my dear friends Choby Chumpus, who's in the chat, Twitch celebrity, and my other friend Lil, and they just happened to be dating. So they were there.
Nice.
And we watched the first night we watched. Not the first night I was there, but the first night we watched a movie. I just want to make sure that's out there.
For anyone tuning in who has been watching Michael's stories and knows exactly what he does at every moment of his day, we don't want anybody in the chat going, actually, on the first night you were...
Yeah, that's great. Actually, okay, we watched The Dark Crystal, which I had never seen in my whole life. I have some issues with that movie.
Sure.
I thought it was fun. It was cool. The puppetry was well done.
Yes.
But some of them look really bad. The gelflings, the like kind of human-y ones, are really like
creepy as
who
fuck.
thought that like as soon as you put that on set, you would have gone, this is just not gonna work.
This is fucked up.
So that was bad. And then there's a hilarious part where there's these guys on stilts and these creatures, and it is the funniest thing when they're running. It's psychotic.
Yeah.
Like, what's happening?
Yeah.
But it was.
I tried to watch it.
Yeah.
It was like a Fathom event.
Yeah.
Like I think just before the pandemic.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, well, I did pay $13, but I am leaving anyway.
You left?
I just left.
That's
I was like,
so funny.
I get it. There's puppets. Okay.
I get it. There's puppets.
It makes sense. I'm sure they'll solve a thing or something.
Yeah, I couldn't leave. I was in a house. No, but it was fine. We had popcorn. We were blazed. It was fine. When you're in that state, you'll accept a lot of.
Yeah.
But I kind of agree with Choby. They said that movie is really special, but there are parts that are just so bad, which I agree. There's a specialness to it, but yeah, I would probably not watch it again.
The puppets are beautiful. I mean, I don't hate it. I just didn't really want to watch it.
Yeah. Was there anything else you saw?
Oh, I saw a little film called Candyman, which I'm afraid to say anything bad about because it will mean that I will be instantly canceled because it is written by a and directed by a so person of color and person or persons of color
PON.
But I didn't love it. That people have already been mad at me this week because I told everyone to go see The Night House instead of Candyman.
Wow.
Just because Candyman's gonna be playing for months.
The movie's starring
a big movie.
White woman.
Oh yeah, it's pretty interesting. Did you want to say? Oh, there's only one black guy in it, and he's old.
Let me guess. He's the night part.
No,
that's so
it's his house.
It's his house.
that's the scary reveal. The Shyamalan style twist. She goes over to a house and there's a black guy in there. Oh my god! He owns a house and he's in our neighborhood, honey. There's a black guy moving in the night house.
It's just Goldilocks, but like about some white lady that breaks into a black family's house. We're the Knights. I just want to say thank you to Choby. Thanks for hopping in. And Fast Break Breakfast says Candyman sucks. Just got out of it. Old Candyman is great. The old one is freaky, and it freaked me out for days. I was like,
Old Candyman rules.
Bothers me.
It's very gross.
Yes.
And it's sexy. It manages to be both. It's like, oh, this is like a really bloody, gross movie where disgusting things happen. And also, it's like hot, and she wants to fuck a ghost. And it's like, yeah, hell yeah, this is awesome. This movie rules.
But this one, not so much. I thought the trailer looked okay, but
it has its moments.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't hate it. It's just, there's a lot of shit that I won't spoil because we're not actually really,
Yes,
really talking about the
please.
movie. But there's a lot of shit that I won't spoil that I don't fucking understand.
Yeah, that's good.
Like, I don't know what it does. I
Yeah.
don't know why it's there. It feels like it is meant to be meaningful, but I
Yes.
don't understand what it's supposed to
I
mean.
remember seeing your Did I Cry? I was like,
Yes.
if you don't know, Sean does a series on his
Oh,
own personal Instagram page.
check it
Sean is
out.
okay, and they're great. But yeah, you were like, I just don't know what any of it.
It's sort of the same way I felt about Us, where it's like this hints at meaning.
Yes.
Like this is sort of about something, I think.
Yeah, that's great.
But I don't know.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is.
Isn't that fun? You just don't know at
Yeah.
all what anything is.
Yeah, I mean, and it doesn't feel like it's like a David Lynch thing where it's like maybe this is dream logic and I don't get it.
Yeah,
It just feels like maybe they don't know.
exactly.
Like,
They-
okay, I think it's pretty obviously about race, but
Yeah.
other than that, I don't know what it's about.
Yeah, that's good. Which I think, I don't know, like the original does a really great job of, like, I thought, but it didn't make it some political. It was just like, hey, this is just kind of the state of things. And
Yes.
then it's also really scary.
Yes.
It's really terrifying.
It's really fucked up.
Yeah.
The violence is horrible. The living conditions are miserable.
Yes.
Also, there's the entire building is haunted by ancient evil.
Yeah. Oh, and I don't know, at least from the trailer, I'm assuming, I think the original is so powerful because it is like the play of the races, like this like white lady
Yeah.
is being like kind of almost paying for this like
Yeah.
history, and then this one it's like a successful black artist, so you're like, wait a minute. So you're fucking over, it just kind of doesn't make any sense, but who
Yeah.
knows? I haven't seen it. I don't know if I will now that I've heard such
It
things.
may not make any more sense to you once you see it.
Yeah, probably not.
It may make honestly even less sense.
That's great.
But
Anyway,
tell us more
Okay,
movies.
sorry.
We've
We
got a
gotta
3-hour
move
movie
on.
to talk
Yeah.
about.
I'm stalling because I just don't think we'll be able to fill up the time.
What will we say about this
Yeah.
film?
Okay, the other ones were Princess Bride, classic, so
Ooh.
fun. What a movie to pull off, like, just like, I don't know, it's just amazing. You don't see movies like this where it's like really funny, but it's also like really sincere and like really
Yes.
sweet. It's just, it does everything perfectly.
Mhm.
Loved it again. And then last was Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which I hadn't seen in years. I
And?
also really liked that too. I was like, this
I
is
like
great.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah.
I have a controversial opinion that I don't find them particularly likable.
No,
Or
they're
at least
awful.
I don't find Ferris particularly likable.
He's horrible. I think I came to that. I was like, when I was a kid, I was probably like, oh, he's cool. And now I'm like,
Yeah.
God, he really sucks. He's a horrible friend.
Yeah, it feels when I watched it the last time, I was like, oh, this feels like Ronald Reagan's dream of what children are like. Just
Yeah.
kind of like boldly living their lives with white privilege.
Yes.
Nothing can stop them.
Exactly. It's
Except the poor friend. His life gets completely fucked.
he
but
gets wrecked. And
Ferris is like, hell yeah.
yeah, I mean, even there's a scene where after he like busts the car up completely, and like it's like a really long scene where his friend's like, okay, I just have to face it. I'm gonna do it. It's fine. And Ferris says nothing the entire
Yeah.
and it just shows how kind of empty he is. Like,
Yeah.
which I guess is good. It's like, hey, he's having fun, but his life
There's not
is
much
kinda,
there.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. But
Yeah.
and I really liked all the comedy with the principal trying to like stop.
Yes.
It was just good. I was
It's
like,
so
this is
great.
fun. Anyway,
Yeah.
all right, enough of the stuff we watched. Let's talk about the stuff
The
we
stuff
watched.
we watched. Namely, The Wolf of Wall Street, directed by Martin Scorsese, starring
Martin
Leonardo
Scorsese.
DiCaprio, Margot Robbie, et cetera, et cetera, et
Martin
cetera, et cetera.
Scorsese.
Hundreds of people, so many actors.
Mhm.
I'll do the plot.
Oh yes, please.
There is a man named Jordan Belfort, and he begins his life, or at least our life as we see him, our life with him, in like 22 or something, trying to be a stockbroker
Mhm.
on Wall Street. Maybe it's 26, and he almost instantly loses his job.
Yeah,
Like a
it's
few months
crazy.
later, it's the biggest crash in the early 80s
Nuts.
or late 80s. At some point, I'm not gonna do any dates
Late
because I
80s.
clearly don't know. And he decides he needs to get a job, so he goes to this place that sells penny stocks, which are essentially a scam. It's
Yeah.
like, I mean, they're not really a scam, but they're essentially a scam. It's like you're selling stock in companies that are not publicly traded. So it's like tiny little companies that no one has ever heard of that
Yeah.
may not even have any inherent value.
Exactly.
And he finds out that the commission on those is really good.
Mm-hmm.
So he
50%.
starts, he starts selling to schmoes, plumbers, and shit. And then he realizes that he can still sell the same stocks to very, very rich people. And this is based on a true story. And so he does that.
Mm-hmm.
And he makes millions and millions of dollars. He does
Yep.
very sneaky things. He does tons of drugs. He does great things and horrible things. And he goes to jail briefly.
Briefly.
And as it always is, he has almost no toll taken on his life
Yeah.
for all the horrible things he does.
Exactly.
And in the end, he's just making probably almost as much money as he was in the first place,
Scamming.
touring. Yes, touring and giving people motivational lessons.
Which is crazy.
It's so crazy.
What a wild life.
He lived a wild life.
Is he still alive?
I think so.
Wow. He might be watching. He could be in the chat.
Jordan, if you're watching, we're going to say probably some mean things, but they're just about the character in the movie,
Yeah.
not you.
Not you who actually did those
Yeah,
awful things.
You're the real person. It's Leonardo DiCaprio's fault
Yeah.
for portraying you as such a bad person.
Which I will say, I've heard some rumors. I don't get much in the celebrity gossip, but I've
Through the
heard
grapevine?
rumors that OLD, if you will, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Old Leonardo DiCaprio?
Old. Like old.
Olay.
Olay.
King Cole.
Yeah. He is a bit wild and will like do crazy stuff that's not the best. But I guess when you're rich, you know, it's still pretty bad.
Yeah, it's still bad, but he gets away with it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, everybody's bad.
Not you, Sean.
I mean,
I won't allow it.
Okay, you're right. I'm good. Let's talk Euros.
Euros.
I have like 1,000.
I have quite a few.
And I had a hard time even picking my most favorite.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to do that.
My most favorite, though. Okay, I'm going to pick it. I'm looking at my 3 options.
Yes.
And I will say this.
Mm-hmm.
Martin Scorsese doing a comedy.
Yeah, that is nice.
So, I mean, he's made tons of movies. Many of them are kind of funny or often funny.
Yeah.
Some are not very funny at all.
That's true.
After Hours is pretty funny.
Never saw it.
Goodfellas is funny at times,
Never
terrifying
saw
at
it.
other times.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That means
Jesus. But with this, he made what is, other than like 3 or 4 scenes, a comedy.
Yeah, it's
It's an all the way comedy.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's like doing the Apatow thing if it somehow wasn't as bad as an Apatow movie. It's like long and there's too much improv, but somehow it still works for me.
For you. Yes.
And I think it's just amazing, and it must be annoying to all of the other comedy directors that Martin Scorsese, who just finally, when he was fucking 60 or 70, decided to make a comedy, knocked it out of the fucking park.
Yeah,
he made a really funny movie.
It's hard when you have so many, like, I don't know, they had a lot of talented people and like big names and stuff, and just like when you've made so many movies, you're kind of like, well, I don't know. He's always had a good sense of that, like you were saying in his other movies. So yeah, it probably just kind of worked out naturally. Like, oh, this is pretty fun.
It's just so I mean, and also this is not necessarily make it good, but it apparently, according to the internet, was his highest grossing film.
Whoa,
which is fucking absurd to me.
Wild.
That like a 3-hour comedy.
It's crazy.
Is his highest grossing film.
Yeah,
like a really rough in language and material.
Yeah,
and topics and sex.
Yeah. Well,
movie.
It what do you call it? It reaches across the aisle. It reaches people who will be completely appalled
Yeah.
and people who will be like, hell yeah, that's the life I want, baby.
I I was looking for my lo mein. I'm not going to talk about it yet,
No.
but I was looking for it, and I was like, "What's bad about this movie?" Because it was hard for me to think, and I saw an article that was like all the things in Wolf of Wall Street that make me feel gross or
Yes.
something, and it like described all the parts, and I was like, "Yeah,
That's the exactly.
yes."
That's the point.
Of course, it makes you feel gross.
That
It's
like
not, they're horrible.
that's the hardest thing. Like I was talking to my friends while watching it because there would just be, like 30-minute periods where I'd be like, ugh, like this
Yeah.
is so horrible. But that's effective. That's like good filmmaking.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not about a good person.
No, exactly.
You should feel sick.
And if you are watching it and you're feeling like, oh, that means that you need to maybe look
Sure.
inside.
But I think there's an interesting dynamic
Yeah.
where, of course, having all the sex you want and doing all the drugs you want is awesome. Like there's something in like this is a kind of a sick fantasy of so many people. Like, why do so many people do so many drugs and
Yeah.
have so much sex? It's not because it isn't fun.
Yeah, exactly.
People do it because it's like, yeah, I'm doing all the drugs, having all the sex.
Adrenaline.
Fuck yeah! So of course, when you see someone who's doing that stuff, it's like, oh, cool.
Wow,
He's
is
having
wild.
fun, man. Cool.
Good for him. Yeah.
But of course, there is an occasional dark side. Some
Well,
might say.
this is why it's tough when John's not here, because I feel like John would also be like really into it.
Yeah.
I was more on that, just like this just seems exhausting. I don't know how they're still enjoying. Like, I get it, that's the fun stuff, but it's just like, man, wouldn't you just be over it? Like just months and months of, I don't know. To
Years.
me, I mean, we're all different brained, but
We are all different brained. But
Who
we're not
knows?
talking about negative stuff.
no,
Here,
we're not. We're just saying that is something we need to have out in the air before we get into it.
drop a euro on me, Michael.
Okay, I liked a lot of the lines. Most of these are just going to be lines.
Drop some on me.
There was, it's when he goes to the investors center or whatever the fuck, whatever it's
Yes.
called, the little
Yes.
like rundown place before he like is running it, basically. Well, he opens his own thing, but he's talking to like the owner of that. At least
Yes.
it seems like it. And
Played by Spike Jonze, the director.
I did not realize that was him. That's
him.
crazy.
He's amazing in it.
Great job, Spike. I like your movies. Okay.
Some of them are great.
Some are fun. But there's a part where I'll just call him LD. No, I'll just say Jordan because
LD.
that's Larry David. That'll be confusing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Leonardo.
Larry David
Leonardo.
as the main.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
It's such a different movie.
Yeah,
Okay.
him snorting or like blowing coke into somebody's ass seems unbelievable. He would never do that.
He couldn't get through it. He would just be dying laughing. Okay, sorry. He's like, okay, if I sell these, I'll get. He's like, if I sell like 10,000 of these, I'll get $5,000.
Yeah.
And then the guy says, he's like, if you sell $10,000 of this stock, I'll personally give you a blowjob. And he sits there and he goes, I hope it happens. And I was like, that's really. It was just like some of the writing was really nice. I was like, oh, that's really funny.
Yeah.
And there, yeah, just stuff like that. And there was also a scene this first time when Leonardo has his own business. He's like running it. He hired all them. And they're like, there's a montage of trying to sell. Everyone's trying to sell with his like strategy.
Yeah.
And they're like going back and forth with this dude who's like, oh, I got to talk to my wife. I don't know. And he just keeps like using his skills. And he keeps reeling him in. And he's doing all these gross, like, he's effing the guy kind of stuff. And you're like, oh dear. But then he gets him to sell it. Like, oh no, he goes like, what does he say? He says, the guy's like, I'll buy him at 6,000. And he goes, all right, I'll get you down for 8. And then the guy's like, okay, why not 10? I was like, yeah, that's fun. So I like that kind of stuff. That was very exciting and like, whoa.
Yes. And it's one of the things that is really sneaky about the movie.
Yeah.
Is there's something admirable about him.
Mm-hmm.
Even as he is a bad person doing bad things.
Yeah.
There's something like, okay, he's really good at what he does.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's the same thing as like watching a Michael Mann movie where there's like a person sneaking into a bank vault or something, and they're
Yeah.
really good at doing that. You're like, oh wow, it's cool to watch someone who's good at their job do their job really well, and he's like so good at being a piece of shit.
Yeah.
He's like so good at like reeling in this money from these people who are also rich. So
That's
he's
true.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
stealing from them.
Exactly.
And like the Robin Hood comparison is really funny, and
Mhm.
it's like he kind of is, but for himself. Like
It's
he's just
exactly.
a completely self-serving Robin Hood stealing
Yes.
all of his money. My second most favorite thing. There's a moment where Jordan has taken some old lewds, some old
Yes.
Quaaludes, and they, for some reason, because they're old, have delayed reaction. And he's at a payphone trying to make a very important phone call, and they start to kick in,
Yeah.
and they fuck him up bad,
Big time.
really bad. And it's probably one of my favorite comedic scenes ever
Yeah.
because he wants to get back to his house
Yes.
because his friend, oh, what the fuck is his friend's name?
Donnie?
His friend Donnie,
Yeah.
played by Jonah Hill,
Mm-hmm.
is at home, also on lewds,
Yeah.
calling their French, or their, I guess, Swiss
Swiss French. Yeah.
Bank, which is how they have laundered all their money.
Yes.
And he's talking shit on their tapped phone. So Jordan
Yeah.
must get home, except he's completely fall down, fucked up
Looted.
on Quaaludes.
Yeah.
He's looted and he's zooted. And there's this one moment where he's at the edge of a set of stairs, and there's this
Yeah.
kind of Scorsese style monologue where he's like, how am I going to get down these stairs?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just so great. But my favorite part of that moment is they show the stairs, and there's like 10 stairs.
Yeah.
And then they cut to a POV, and it's like this huge set of stairs.
Yeah.
There's like 50 stairs, and they keep on cutting back between like Jordan perspective, looted
Yeah.
up, and like real life perspective.
Exactly.
And like he's like rolling down all 50 stairs,
Yeah, that's funny.
and he's crawling through the parking lot, and he tries to open the door of his Lamborghini with his foot, and it just like
so
pulls
funny.
his leg up.
I was
It's
like,
just such a beautiful piece of physical comedy.
yes.
And you never see physical comedy in movies anymore.
No.
Nobody has the patience to make physical comedy. Nobody is like smart enough to do a cool Buster Keaton
Yeah.
bit. But God, does he pull it off?
Exactly. Yeah, it's really well done.
My God, it's
That-
so funny.
That kind of stuff I love. It reminds me, I've maybe brought it up on the podcast before, but there's this old Disney animated short, I guess. I don't know if you call it short. It's like an episode about Donald Duck trying to go to sleep, but his alarm clock like keeps waking him up. Like it's like the ticking's too loud, so he like eventually breaks it. But then like a piece of it like goes in his throat. Like it gets so insane. Like and his bed starts like closing on him. All this crazy. Like I love like the buildup of like physical bits is like yeah, really nice.
It's so wonderful. And I mean, it's just like another one of those things where you're like, well, shit, Scorsese can do fucking anything.
Yeah.
He can do anything.
Yeah.
And
he can do anything.
I just imagine stupid Adam McKay over in his mansion just watching it and going, God damn it.
That's great.
Fuck. Why do I bother making movies?
Yeah. Don't.
Why do I literally? Why do I
want to know? Yeah, this is not rhetorical. I piggybacking.
Get on my back, Michael.
Yeah, off of that one is it's right after that scene where he's like, I think someone asked him like how he got home or something. He's like, oh yeah, I just drove. No, the cops come and they're like, he's like, no, I forget how he gets out of it, but he doesn't. But they just reveal because it seems like he makes it home fine somehow, and he even says it. He's like, oh, and there wasn't even a scratch on me or the car.
Yeah.
And then later the cops come and they cut to the car and it's like completely destroyed. And they show it in real time, like running into all this stuff. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's like, dang. So I like that part a lot.
It's really wonderful. This is going back a little bit. But Matthew McConaughey.
Yes.
Who's in the movie for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe. is fucking amazing.
He's great. He was so good. I was like sad. I was like, oh, he's just gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you do kind of want him to come back, but also I don't know if the movie could hold
Yeah.
his weight for
True.
that entire time if he was that insane the whole time.
That's true.
One great thing is they're having a lunch, and Jordan is kind of a naive young man, just drinking water,
Yeah.
and Matthew is ordering martinis, and he wants them coming fast. He wants to get fucked up.
Yeah.
And a few things he says. One, that's great, is he's doing a little cocaine snort with his little. He's got a tiny spoon, and he offers some to Jordan. And he says, "Tootskie,"
Yeah.
which I love. And at some point, he's talking about how you have to jerk off a lot in order to be a top Wall Street broker. And now he says this. He says it in a myriad of ways, but one of the ways he says it is, you got to feed the geese to keep the numbers going.
That's great.
He's talking about, like, you're with numbers, and that's really acidic and mustard and above the head shit. So sometimes you gotta feed the geese to keep the numbers going.
When he first asked him about it, he's like, I don't know, once or twice a week, and then he goes, "Those are rookie numbers."
Those
I was
are
like,
rookie
"That's
numbers.
really
You gotta get those up."
Yeah, it's so
Oh
good.
God.
His delivery, like, he had a few lines in that part, like Leonardo DiCaprio is like, "Oh, you have great clients." Like, he's trying to suck up, and then he just goes, "Fuck the clients." Like,
Yes.
I love it.
Yes. In that moment, like, I mean, I don't know if Jordan's life turned on a dime like
Yeah.
that, but that moment seems to represent the entire movie.
Yeah.
Like, that is the moment when Jordan realizes his future. And also it is, like, very representative of, like, what those people think.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, fuck the people.
Yeah.
It's about us making the money.
Numbers.
All of it is nonsense. And we keep selling it to them. And if they try to get out, we say, "Oh, we have another great idea.
Yeah.
Here's this new thing that you can buy also." And it's, yeah. And that's what the whole rest of the movie is.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Jordan's like, "Oh, that's a pretty good idea. I will do that exact thing."
Yeah, that one guy, like, had such an impact. Like, if he had not ever met him, who knows? Like, he may have just not been a stockbroker. Like, he would have just gone work somewhere else. Yeah, it is very interesting.
He might have given it up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What's the line? Matthew McConaughey, he's like, Fugazi, so, woo woo.
Is a whoozy, is a onesie.
Yeah, woozy. It's all fairy dust. I was like, that's great.
Yes.
He had really good lines. I was like, that was great character.
He's wonderful.
Yeah.
Tell me more wonderful things about this wonderful movie.
A lot of it was just like lines, but there were a lot of really really good, like when he wakes up on the plane because they were like so high, and then he's like tired. He's all buckled. It was like a really good reveal. Like, that cracked me up.
Yeah, there's a nice slow pull out where you see that he's got, like, somehow they have attached like another seatbelt to his chest.
Yeah.
He's just like, "You're gonna get me out of here." And right in that moment, Jonah Hill says to him, "You called the captain the N-word. Luckily, we're in first class." And you're like,
Jeez.
Man, oh man.
Whew. Yeah. There's some rough
dead
stuff.
on.
You're like, woo.
And also, I picture it because they're on like a Swiss airline.
Yeah.
Is it just a white like, they don't show the captain.
True.
Is it just a white captain that he's calling the N-word?
Which is crazy.
Which is even more absurd.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in this movie where it is funny, extremely dark.
Yeah.
It's like the rule of threes.
Exactly.
Where it's just like so many really horrible things happen. One of my most favorite really horrible things is there's a guy and they're like, "Hey, you have to, there's a no sex rule during the workday." And someone breaks it the first day, and he's like getting a blowjob in an elevator.
Yeah.
And they're like, then Jordan's like, "Yeah, she blew everybody in the office. Donnie and I double teamed her."
Yeah.
And then later they got married. It was weird.
Yeah, that was weird.
And then he killed himself. So they like cut from these kind of silly mid-90s like marriage photos to like a cut off torso, like just his torso in a bloody bathtub. And it's so brutal. but
Yeah.
God, is it funny?
Yeah, because
Oh
it's so
man,
flippant. It's just like, and then whatever. Like,
yeah, and he fucking killed himself.
yeah,
And then later he fucking killed himself. It's just like, oh my God, Jordan,
it's wild.
you
Yeah,
must know that's a bad thing,
yeah,
right?
well, surely, but I guess
Surely you know
not.
that a suicide is bad.
I think I don't know. He
It
seemed
is hard to
pretty
tell.
morally bankrupt. He just, yeah,
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
It's tough when you like completely are immersed in the system of like money because it's just like such a brutal thing that like of course you
Sure.
wouldn't care about anybody or like using women or what like doing all this stuff
Yes.
because you are in a system that's just like it doesn't matter as long as you're making money. Like it is
Yes.
really telling, and I think maybe that was part of my exhaustion because I'm just actually exhausted in real life with all of it. I'm like,
Yes.
woo! I don't know how anyone's doing this.
I I mean, I totally understand that. I
Yeah.
think it's one of the interesting things about the movie for me is
Hmm.
that it is like simultaneously sort of like fun.
Yeah.
I find it fun
Hmm.
and funny and like it's kind of zany
Yeah.
and there's people like there aren't that many moments where the evil of the situation is portrayed as dark.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Like
For sure.
because for most of it they are high as fuck
Yeah.
and they're having a great time. So
Hmm.
it's there's almost never this kind of external god narrator who is like, "Ooh, these are bad boys. You shouldn't be like this."
Exactly.
There's like a few moments where Jordan is so bad that you can't help but
Hmm.
go, "Oh my God, Jordan." But for the most part, it's like we're having a great time. We're on Quaaludes,
Yeah.
which is
Exactly.
horrible, but it's portrayed as the fun it was for them.
Because well, I mean, it makes sense because I mean, it was based on a book written by him. Like, it's
Yes.
his total perspective. My friend
Yeah.
Lil I think she said this, had a really good point of like, it's not like he's talking to the audience. He's talking to his audience. Like, he's talking to like people he's imagining like are
Yes.
listening in like a oh what like they're
Yeah.
along for the ride type of thing rather than like yeah like you were saying it's very interesting. It's all in his like tunnel, like his vision. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. The two moments I referenced earlier are kind of the moments that really make the movie for me.
Yeah.
There's one moment where uh Jordan has already met Margot Robbie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What is her character name? Naomi.
Harley Quinn.
Yes, Harley Quinn in her I think first big film role.
Oh, really?
And she's pretty amazing in it.
Yeah, she did a great job.
She yeah, she's great. But they have first met and they're in the back of a limousine having a great time snorting coke off of each other's titties. And
Classic.
they arrive at Jordan's house and Jordan's wife is there.
Yeah.
Jordan has been cheating on his wife. And it's just one of those moments that like I'm sure a few other people could pull off, but mostly Scorsese can pull off because
Yes.
he's just such a badass. Where there are these like brutal rug pulls where like the party stops
Yeah.
and it stops on a dime, and you realize, oh yes, there is a consequence to all of
Yes,
this
exactly.
evil. And he's like talking to his wife, and his wife is crying,
Yeah.
and there's this like long shot of them in front of this kind of like gold plated beautiful building, shiny, and like their relationship is ending.
Yeah.
And it's so brutal.
Yeah, it's rough.
And it's like that stuff that kind of makes the rest of the movie for me, because it's like, okay, there's these moments of hilarity.
Mm-hmm.
Jonah Hill's saying very funny things, and I
Yeah.
laugh a lot. Jordan is dancing,
Yeah.
and he looks great while he's dancing. And then there's that moment, and you're like, oh yeah,
Exactly.
this sucks.
Yeah,
And
this
there's another
really
moment
sucks.
right near the end where a bunch of shit goes down,
Yeah.
but like he is having his final battle with his wife, literally,
Yeah.
and he like starts. They have a fight. She says, "I want a divorce." He like cuts open a cushion in the
Yeah.
couch and pulls out a huge bag of
It just
coke.
starts, yeah, going.
And she's like, "I'm gonna take the kids," and he's like, "You're never taking my fucking kids." And he punches her in the
Yeah,
stomach,
it's
which
messed
is
up.
literally, I mean, it is both literally and figuratively a gut punch,
Yeah.
where you're just like,
Yeah,
oh
yeah. I was like,
God, it's like, and it's interesting because there is violence in the movie otherwise. I mean, there's like people getting hurt in various ways,
yeah.
mostly emotionally, but there's still like physical violence. But like this one, it's just so fucked up.
Yeah. I was like,
And it's
dang.
like not, it's played with none of the kind of joy of the rest of the
No,
movie.
yeah.
All of it goes away. It's just like, oh, fuck. God.
Yeah, that's rough.
Jordan, you piece of shit.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
And
Jesus.
it is, yeah, it does this really smart thing where it's like, hey, this guy's fun. He loves drugs.
Yeah.
And I forgot. He's a horrible piece of
Horrible,
shit.
yeah.
Just a horrible. And then he grabs the kid and it gets worse and worse. And you're like,
Oof.
oh no, he punched her already. Please don't make it worse.
Yeah.
And he like steals his kid, gets into his Lamborghini, floors it
Yes.
backwards through the garage door, slams into their expensive mailbox.
Yeah.
Like his head is bloody, and they like do these cuts to like the kid.
Yeah, it's
The
messed
kid
up.
is just terrified, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah, I was like really scared when she like shot forward.
Yes.
I was like, holy jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was intense.
It's so fucking scary.
Yeah.
So scary. And man, that, I mean, for the most part, this movie doesn't moralize. And I think even in these moments, it doesn't really moralize.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they're saying, "Oh, what a bad guy." They're just presenting,
yeah, here you go.
a bad guy.
Yeah, there's a portrait
They're
of
like,
a bad
hey,
guy.
here's this bad guy,
Yeah.
and all the bad things he does that seem fun. Also, there's this other life of him doing bad things that aren't fun at all.
Not at all, yeah.
That are horrible, horrible things.
Yeah.
And all the exploitation of all different kinds of people, physically and sexually and monetarily,
Yeah.
are just at their root are kind of violent.
Yes, exactly.
He's just a violent man in so many ways.
It is a weird line though, because there are some sweet moments like when he's about to quit the place because he needs to take this deal, and he's like talking to that lady and she's like, yeah, you like basically saved my life. Like it is this weird thing where it's like that's it. Yeah, there's just such duality in life. You're like, it sucks. Like no matter how much, like even when you do horrible things, you have also done like really kind. Like it is, yeah,
absolutely.
It's such,
and even within that speech, like he's doing the thing where he's talking about how much money he gave her, and she's like, I asked you for $5,000, or he's like, you asked me for $5,000. And how much money did I give you?
Yeah.
He's like, you gave me $25,000. And even this like kind of touching, moving moment where like, because they're both so into it, like you almost get a catch in your throat and you're like, oh, what a sweet moment.
Yeah.
Even in that, he's like being self-serving.
Exactly. He's like, how much did I do? Yeah, I did good
but how
things.
much did I really give you?
Yeah, it is.
I gave you a bunch more, and you're like, oh God, he's fucking with my brain.
Yeah, and then which is a good way they manipulate you, because that's how he manipulated everyone in that room.
Absolutely.
And then like instantly fell back in love with that high of like all these people. I mean, it's literally tribalism. Like it's just like the leader of this giant tribe
hitting their chest, just like McConaughey did in the beginning.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
I wonder what happened to that guy. Like whoever Matthew McConaughey was playing. It'd be so interesting to like, where did he end up? Like I wonder.
If you know, tweet at us.
Yeah.
Good podcast.
If you are him.
Yes,
please.
We would love to have you on the show.
Great.
We would probably not for too long, because I'm guessing you're probably nuts. But it would be fascinating to hear you talk and maybe defend yourself.
Yes.
I have a few more positive things, but I want you to tell me something positive before we bail.
I had a few more, but I'll just say my last one.
Do it.
I liked how it's like towards the end where he is doing that infomercial, and then it just all gets broken up, and the police like arrest him in the like, because you kind of think like, oh, he just got away with it, but it was like a nice like, oh, there we go. He's getting arrested. Yeah, which was nice.
I love. There's a really good callback, kind of soon after that. The investigator played by Kyle Chandler, is that his name? Yes, Kyle Chandler. Agent Patrick Denham.
AKA the only good actor in Godzilla versus Kong. No.
Yes. Yes, and they don't even let him act.
Nope.
It's too bad. He's quite good in it, as almost everybody is. Um, Kyle, they're on the boat earlier. They're on a big yacht, and Jordan has foolishly invited this FBI inspector onto his boat to sort of bribe him, but not really bribe him. And Kyle Chandler gets in his face, and he's like, I'm gonna take this boat away from you. And they have this like back and forth. And Kyle has talked about how like he once tried to be a broker. Like Jordan has found from his past that he once tried to be a broker. And he's like, yeah, sometimes when I'm like on the subway sweating my balls off, I wish I had done that.
Yeah, exactly.
And later, Kyle, the agent, has he has caught Jordan.
Yeah.
I mean, he has essentially done what he was supposed to do. And they show him in the subway.
Yeah, exactly.
Just kind of looking bemused, kind of looking sort of sad.
Yeah, like
it's just like, well, what did I fucking do?
Yeah.
I mean, what did I get out of this?
Yeah, exactly.
I guess the government seized a bunch of stuff.
Great.
But I'm still making the same amount of money. I mean, he too is like a victim of a totally different system.
Yep, it's tragic. It's just like,
it's like, oh, this guy who's trying to keep the peace and trying to make life better for people. Well, he caught him and he went to jail for a little while, and now Jordan's back out making more money than he could ever dream of.
I know, it's so sad when like, because I love when he like gets like the one up on him on the yacht, and he's like, could you say that again? Like, like they're trying to get it, and then he's like, they're like leaving like confidently, and Jordan's like, here's your salary. Like, I'm just throwing it. It is just so tragic. You're like, ugh, this sucks. But
before we go negative,
we
haven't mentioned Jonah Hill very much at all.
Oh yeah, he's great in it.
And Jordan Hill is so fucking
Jordan Hill.
No, Jonah Hill, sorry. Jonah Hill is so fucking funny.
Yeah, he's great. Really well done.
Got big silly teeth. He's fucking funny. He does many monologues about stuff that I will not repeat on the podcast.
Yeah, no.
And they're all fantastic.
It's wild.
He's so fucking funny.
Yeah, and he's like married to his cousin. You're like,
yes, he's married to his cousin.
Crazy.
There's this really long monologue about what might happen to his kids because he's married to his cousin.
It's strange.
And God, it's so funny. He's wonderful. His teeth are wonderful.
Yeah, he had a line where he's like, smoke some crack with me, bro. I was like,
oh my God.
It's just so
that moment's great. They smoke crack. And Leo gets in his face and he's like, we gotta run.
Yeah.
We gotta run like lions of tigers and bears.
That's one of those scenes where it feels like it would have hurt. Like, because he's just like shaking Jonah. You're like, jeez.
And then I kind of love that shot because like within the shot, it's like a little pan to the left and they just literally run out of shot. They run outside and they run out of the shot. And you're like, oh, hell yeah.
It's crazy.
Let's talk negative.
Negative. Low mains.
Drop some low mains of this movie, Michael.
I'll get
the length. That's my guess for you.
Yeah. Oh, that is number one, top of the list.
Okay.
I found it way too long.
Okay.
I did watch it later, but even if I don't think it would have mattered,
You watched it at 1 a.m.
Yeah, it was about 1 a.m. It ended at about 4 because I was like, I had to drive home 7 hours. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna fit this movie.
No, it's a really long movie.
So I watched it, and I didn't fall asleep. So I guess it's a lot's happening. It's not like it's taking its time, but it just is very drawn out in my opinion. I was like, this is really long.
I figured that would be your...
you got it.
I think I don't want to say positive things during the low main, but I love the length.
Oh,
and this is why, because I don't know what I want to take out. That's the main thing is I don't now. And for me, at least, part of the journey is that it's like this epic taxing journey.
Yeah, it's true.
Now, I totally understand how you might not like the length.
Yeah.
and I support you not
Well,
liking the like.
thank you. There's a lot of other things I didn't like, so.
Oh, tell me more. Drop more negativity on me.
Well, I'll jump to the chat real quick.
Okay.
Chad said that they disliked the fact that there were no wacky bloopers in the end credits, which would have been great.
I bought the Blu-ray using like trade-in bucks at our local
Whoa.
used bookstore, McKay's.
Yes.
Otherwise, I probably would not have because it doesn't have very many special features, which
Yeah.
annoys me.
Yeah, that's
But
weird.
I would love to see bloopers of this movie because clearly they were fucking around a lot,
Yeah, exactly.
and I want to see more. Tell me negative things. Is there more negative stuff in the chat?
No. That's all
Really?
the only negative part. I have more, but I want to hear yours.
I can't think of it. That's the problem. Is
Okay.
I can't think of anything.
That's great. Stumped. He's been stumped.
I think almost everybody in it does their best performance of their career.
Yeah, it's very well acted.
Even people who are almost never good, like John Bernthal, who is in like Walking Dead and a whole bunch of shit, and
right,
is
yeah.
almost like never that great.
It
Plays like this kind of like Guido weightlifter dude.
Yeah.
And God, he's so fucking good in it. And
Yeah.
I just love that shit.
It works. I mean, the shorter and more detestable your character is, like, it's better if you're not the best actor. Like, he's great in what is that movie called? Oh my god, my brain oh my goodness.
Tony the Tiger runs to the top of the mountain using his karate.
Oh my gosh, I know it. It's one of my favorite movies.
What happens in it?
It's about the hitman. It's got Benicio del Toro in it.
Benicio del Toro.
What is it? Oh,
the hitman.
What is it called? I know
the hitman.
Yeah, he's a hitman, and they're like doing like covert missions and stuff. And she's like a cop that gets brought on.
Oh, is it Sicario?
Sicario, yeah. I was like, why can't I remember the name of that? But he's in that like briefly, and like tries to kill Emily Blunt in that scene, and he's pretty good in that too.
He's really good.
Yes. So shorter.
Maybe he only needs drop more negativity on me because I want to be negative.
Okay, I'm gonna say hi to Broobs real quick. Broobs is one of our best supporters. Hi, Broobs.
Hey, Broobs.
Negativity. I personally, along with the length, I thought where I could see how you'd say like it'd be hard to pick what scenes to cut.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I would cut whole scenes, but I would trim a lot of the scenes.
Okay.
I think because of the improv nature,
yes,
that is hard to do probably.
Sure.
Because a character just keeps rattling on, which is funny at times, and then other times I was just like, okay, I'm kind of over this scene. Like, can we just move on? Like, I get it, they're bad people. I don't know. It felt like it lingered too long sometimes, which I get on the like slow burn side is nice, but it's also like, okay, like, I don't know. There was a lot, like, okay, this is a really rough comparison. This is a much better movie, but and I'm in this movie I'm about to bring up.
Okay.
In Tyler Perry's Boo Medea Halloween.
I remember the film.
This was also an improvised film where it would just be scenes going on endlessly of characters like talking. At least in this, there were funny moments. Yeah. And that was just like, why is this scene? It's like 20 minutes. Like, what? Yes. And I don't really like scenes like that. Like, I'm fine with like long swooping shots where a lot's happening. It's kind of, or like when he's drugged and he's like trying to like, that's fine. Draw that out. But I don't know. Some of the scenes where they're just talking, I was like, I'm
too much talking.
Come on, move on.
I get it. They do a lot of talking.
Yeah.
There's a lot of kind of they're getting loose. Jonah Hill's coming up with some funny stuff, and they're playing off of that.
Yeah.
And Leo's like, hey, let's do another one. Let's do another one. That was good. Let's do another one.
I'll say one of your jokes this time, and
okay.
It'd be like he's like trying to figure out how to be funny, and he's like, okay, I'll say that.
Okay, I'll say that's funny. I'll say that.
I've had that before. Have you had that where you say something funny in like an improvised scene, like a sketch or something, and everyone's like, oh, that was great, and then someone else says that thing that you said that was funny, and you're like, yeah, that was the thing.
Yeah,
I hate when that happens. Anyway, those are mine. You're not gonna like this. Broob said they would cut out Leo completely. Wow.
What?
Controversial. It'd be weird because there'd just be scenes where there's no one in the shot.
Yeah, that movie would be fucking insane.
Yeah,
that would be a really insane movie.
What's happening?
Yeah, you'd be because there would be no voiceover.
Yeah, nothing.
There would be it would begin with a car driving itself and a woman kind of like moving her head up and down into like an empty seat.
Hollow Man.
Giving a blowjob to empty space. There'd be a guy. Well, there'd be a woman naked on a bed, covered in cash, just kind of looking like she's being made love to, just shaking. There'd be just there at one point there'd just be stairs.
Yeah, that's
There'd just be stairs and different shots of stairs.
So funny. Like, I want to get like Marvel movies or something where they so much of it's fake, where you could just get the cuts of like there's no super like Spider-Man, but without Spider-Man. It's just always, like, empty shots.
Yeah, like Garfield without Garfield.
That'd be amazing. Yeah, I love that.
Except with the movie.
Garfield,
I feel bad that I don't have anything bad to say. I wish I had something bad to say. Watching it again, I was just howling the whole time, just going, ah, ah,
like a wolf. Howling.
Yes, I was howling like a wolf, just having a great time.
That's great.
Okay, I'll say one bad thing.
Ooh, I want to hear what you're saying. I have one that I think you will agree with, but
okay, I'll say mine, and then you go. Okay. I think Scorsese is really in Scorsese mode with the music.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's just too much music happening all at once. Lots of times I like the music, but sometimes it's just like, how many fucking songs are in this movie? And like, and sometimes it is funny because it's like, there's like a Foo Fighters song and then there's like instantly some other song.
Yeah.
And the Foo Fighters it's like funny to have Foo Fighters in a movie. I don't know, there's just something inherently funny about the Foo Fighters. Because they're just like such goofball music for goofball people. Drop some negative. Drop more negative on me.
It's interesting you brought up the very thing I was like, this doesn't fit at all. Like, even it is funny, but I was like, this just doesn't. It took me out of the movie. The Foo Fighters. Like, what? And there was also, I don't know what it was. There was weird rock music when they were like flying to Switzerland. And I was like,
yes,
this just doesn't. I don't know. So there were a couple of music choices where I went, this isn't working for me. But
you know who's to blame for that? Robbie Robertson, guitarist of the band.
Wow.
One of John Burr formerly of the Food Court. One of his favorite artists, living or dead. And it's all his fault that the movie sucks.
Yeah, it's all his fault. And I'm fine with Foo Fighters outside of this context, but not in the. It just doesn't work for me. Sorry.
Honestly, I like them less in the context of the world than I do within the context of the movie.
Well, Chad will not like that because they said they are fighting Foo, and I would not want to live in a world without them. Shudder.
Oh, okay.
So this is another time where we need to go back and say, we are right, you are wrong. No,
the opinions are the opinions only of the makers and writers and performers of Food Court, and do not represent the opinions of our parent company, Paramount Incorporated, USA, or America.
What if we were represented by one of the like studios? So anytime we had one of their movies, we had to only say
that'd be great. I would love to do that.
Oh, Space Jam was so good.
Oh yeah, I loved the Warner Brothers verse. Oh, it's so cool, man. Oh, I love when they play basketball with cartoons. Who the fuck comes up with this shit?
Oh, Rubes caught us. They said they did quotes. They said of me saying, I'm okay with Foo Fighters outside this context. And then you just go, okay. It's just, that's good. Anyway, but we will never be affiliated with any of these studios because we do not care about money or success.
Yes.
And
they have not offered.
Yeah.
No one has offered to give us any money.
But if you want to send us any movies, any of these places, that'd be great. Send us some screeners.
Send us screeners. Yeah. We'll be happy to watch them. Send us money.
Send us money.
If you have money, send us money, please.
Yes. And I have one last gripe.
Oh, gripe it on.
I don't know if this is like them purposely referencing this, or they just accidentally stole this line. But
Hmm.
it's Margot Robbie talking to, what's his name? Leonardo DiCaprio,
Jordan?
the lead actor of the film.
The world famous actor, one of the
Yeah.
most famous living actors. Yes.
They're having one of their famous fights.
Yes.
Not the one that gets really bad, I don't think.
Yes. The first one that's sort of silly, but sort of not silly.
Yeah, she's like asking, she's like, who's Venice or something like that or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he's like, who? And she goes, who? What are you, a fucking owl? And that
Yeah.
exact line is in. Did you ever see the movie Heat?
Yeah.
It's like that, the exact line, which whatever. But I was just like, oh, that's weird. That's like verbatim.
Man. Well, first of all, I'm guessing Scorsese has seen Heat.
He must have.
Since
Yeah.
he's seen every movie.
That's why I was like,
so maybe.
yeah, I don't know. It just was weird. I was like, oh, that's weird.
I would guess it's a thing like, well, within the movie, it's not a reference to Heat.
True, yeah.
Like Margot Robbie's character is probably not making a reference to Heat. But I bet Scorsese is.
Yeah.
Maybe,
yeah.
I mean, who knows?
Who knows? I've seen a comedy movie use it before, and I was like, oh, it's weird. I mean, there's no way everyone can see every movie and know. Like, I'm amazed there's not a million movies that have. I mean, there probably are, but like the exact same comedy bits. It's kind of amazing how. I don't really enjoy many just straight up comedies because they're usually horrible. But
yeah.
Anyway,
all comedies are horrible. Except The Wolf of Wall Street.
And The Trip.
Which is hilarious. And The Trip.
Yes.
And The Trip. And the second trip. And the third trip. And the fourth trip.
Yeah.
If you love this podcast and if you hate The Wolf of Wall Street or if you love The Wolf of Wall Street, tweet at us. We are on at Twitter. We are on at Twitter. We are at Twitter.
We'll be on at Twitter.
We are on Twitter. And our at is at Food Court Cast.
Yeah.
We're on Instagram at Food Court Movie Podcast.
That's true.
We're on all of your favorite podcast sites. We're on YouTube. We love reviews.
Yes, we do.
So give us thumbs up on our YouTube videos. Give us 5 stars on our podcasts.
Ugh.
Write a review saying, I am from the beautiful nation of Australia or New Zealand.
Oh, wait. Is
yes.
Margot Robbie Australian?
She's a something.
I thought.
I think she is Australian.
I just wanted to.
She has some kind of accent.
I was just thinking maybe if you're from Australia.
Yes.
And she's from us.
You guys should get married.
Yeah.
Because she's very
smart.
She's very lovable in many ways.
Yeah. She's cool.
And you have to give it to us for not even mentioning that she is completely nude in this movie.
Oh, yeah. We did
and
not.
There's tons of people who are completely nude in this movie.
I will say I was tempted to say something earlier.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, yeah. But then I was like, oh, I probably shouldn't say that. But so we did a good job.
We did a good job. And it is absolutely a testament to how good she is that we didn't even think about it.
Yeah, exactly. See?
We didn't even think about one of the hottest women in the world being completely naked. That's how good of an actress she is that we just went, oh, what a great actress.
The performance is up here. That's what I say.
It's in the eyes.
It's in the eyes.
Not, in the...
No, I didn't even notice. I was like,
oh,
the story. What? I'm looking for the story here.
Ooh, I like this story.
Yeah, this is thick. This story is thick.
Oh, the story's getting fatter and fatter.
Oh, yeah.
We're making a new poll for next week so you can tell us what to watch.
Yes, please.
On the poll so far, Annette,
Ooh.
the Leos Carax and Sparks movie.
Yes.
Reminiscence with Huge Act Man.
Ooh.
The Platform, a movie on Netflix recommended by one of our listeners. And for Chad, who always requests Police Academy 2. It's all going in the poll. Please vote for one or all of these movies. Tell us what to watch next week. Or if you can get enough write-in votes where you beat the poll, do that too.
Do it all.
Tell us what you want us to watch.
And especially...
Tell us... Yes?
And I'll let you finish.
Never let me finish.
But I just wanted to say thanks to everybody in the chat for hanging
Thank you.
out.
Thank you.
And we will not be talking about The Last Airbender because we only talk about, well, we could talk about the movie, but
Yes.
there's apparently a new series coming out, but we don't know.
Hey, if you manage to pay us enough to watch a TV show and record like 50, however many podcasts you need to record to do a TV show,
Yeah.
we will do it. But we will not do it for free. There's no fucking way we're doing a whole TV show. It takes like 100 hours to watch a TV show.
Oh, okay. They meant the movie, but
Oh, okay.
that movie's horrible. And I don't want to
I've never seen
watch
it.
it again.
I'm a big
It's
Shyamalan fan,
horrible.
so I will watch it
It's-
even if it's horrible.
Ooh, it's bad. And not even in the Shyamalan bad. It's just like, wow, this is just not.
This is just a regular bad
really,
movie.
they really didn't
Shit.
do it. Anyway.
Well, tweet at us. Tell us what kind of movie you want to watch. Fill in your favorite movies for the poll. And follow us on all the things. Give us 2 thumbs up. Tell us everything. Tweet at us. This is really important. With things you didn't like about Wolf of Wall Street. Because I couldn't think of enough. And it made me feel like I am less of a person because I wasn't negative about something. And Michael,
Yes.
on behalf of you, Michael Hampton, and John Burr, who's not here, and me, Sean Parrott, may I say to you, bon appetit.
Oh, woo!